Have you ever encountered someone whose mere presence seems to alter the atmosphere? They don't need to shout or demand. Their silence alone is enough to make people question, to chase, to feel. What if you could harness this power? Imagine if you stopped reacting immediately, if you embraced silence over immediate response and withdrawal over explosion. What transformations might occur in your life? This reflection invites us to explore the profound impact of strategic silence and mindful withdrawal in our lives. By choosing silence over reaction, you create a space that disrupts the usual dynamics around you. Suddenly, the predictable patterns of interaction are thrown into disarray. People can no longer control or predict you through your reactions, and this shift in the game reveals their dependence on your availability. Have you ever noticed who gets anxious or irritated when you become less accessible? This isn't just about you. It reveals more about them and the extent to which they rely on manipulating your reactions. By understanding these dynamics, you can begin to reclaim your energy and focus it on what truly matters. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, famously stated, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." This insight encourages us to reflect on who becomes desperate or frustrated when we withdraw. These reactions illuminate the ways in which we have been unknowingly manipulated by others and how our constant availability has been taken for granted. In our quest to maintain peace and avoid losing people who were never truly with us, we often sacrifice our own well-being. Each time we say yes when we want to say no, we give away a piece of our energy, leading to exhaustion and frustration. The journey towards individuation, as Jung called it, is one of becoming whole, authentic, and complete. It begins with the realization that silence can be more powerful than 1,000 arguments. Conscious withdrawal, when it stems from awareness rather than avoidance, becomes an act of power. So, I ask you, how long will you continue to be controlled by the emotions of others? How long will you allow yourself to be a puppet, reacting whenever someone pokes at your vulnerabilities? Perhaps it's time to cut those strings, to embrace mystery, and to change the game by becoming less available. Our society teaches us to always be present, to respond quickly, and to please others. We are conditioned to believe that our value lies in how accessible we are to others. But this constant availability is not a virtue, it is a prison. As long as we believe we must be available at all times, we will be manipulated, drained, and discarded when no longer useful. Being perpetually available makes us predictable, and predictability turns us into tools for others to use as emotional emergency buttons. They press it for attention, relief, or validation, and then put us back on the shelf when we're no longer needed. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted and recognized. This mask keeps us overly available, saying, "It's okay," when we're suffocating, responding immediately even when exhausted, and justifying ourselves unnecessarily. This over-availability is a subtle form of self-abandonment, a way to seek approval and avoid rejection. But it comes at the cost of our peace. Our energy is not infinite, yet we distribute it as if it were. Those who demand our constant availability don't truly want us. They want what we provide: validation, company, distraction, emotional comfort. When we change, when we set boundaries, we disrupt this dynamic, and those who depend on our availability will resist. The cruel truth is that the more available you are, the less others value you. What is too abundant becomes an emotional rag, something taken for granted. Now, consider who truly deserves your time and attention. More importantly, who deserves your absence? Before you answer, reflect on why we react so much, why we give in so easily. This automatic desire to respond, justify, and please is rooted in what Jung called psychic energy. Your energy is all you have, and if you don't learn to protect it, others will exploit it. Jung did not view the human psyche as an automatic machine reacting without consequence. He saw it as an energy system where every thought, emotion, and action consumes part of that energy. The question is, are you choosing where your energy goes, or are you allowing the world to decide for you? Jung's insight, that which you resist persists, suggests that the more we react, the more we entangle ourselves. Those who live emotionally drained are not weak. They are misdirected. When exhaustion sets in, vulnerability follows, making us easy prey for those who sense our lack of energy management. Jung posited that a healthy psyche knows how to keep energy within the system. This means knowing how to say no without guilt, remaining silent without feeling cowardly, and observing before acting. True power lies not in reaction, but in the deliberate choice of when and how to act. This is possible only when we know ourselves well enough to recognize our impulses. How often have you lost sleep over unresolved conversations or spent hours ruminating on past interactions? This is energy being drained without return, perpetuating cycles that survive only because we insist on responding. Psychic energy is akin to a force field. When well guarded, it creates presence. You command respect without uttering a word. When poorly managed, you become invisible, reactive, fragile. The world shows no mercy to those who give in easily. Begin to observe your triggers. What makes you react automatically? What causes you to lose your center? These are the points where your energy escapes, and they need attention, not to become cold or indifferent, but to become selective and sovereign over yourself. Jung's revelation was profound. Conserving your energy breaks the projections others place upon you. This disturbs those who have manipulated you, as your unavailability disarms their games. People don't need to control you overtly. They only need you to continue reacting predictably. When you stop reacting, the game ends. Silence and withdrawal shatter projections, forcing others to confront themselves, an uncomfortable truth they often resist. Your unavailability challenges others to face their own emptiness. The silence you offer reveals the internal chaos they avoid. Their reactions, criticism, emotional drama are not because you are wrong, but because you cease to serve as a convenient mirror. Jung said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you withdraw, you stop feeding cycles, and the other's shadow emerges, unbearable for those who used you as an escape. Are you prepared to be misunderstood, rejected, or attacked for protecting yourself? Are you ready to endure the silence that follows rupture? In this silence, a new power is born. Silence, when mastered, changes the dynamics between you and the world. In a noisy modern world where everyone seeks to be heard, the power of silence remains unknown to many. It is a power not of passivity, but of strategic, conscious presence. Jung saw silence as fertile ground for transformation. By ceasing reaction, we begin to observe, noticing patterns previously unseen. Silence allows for lucidity, dangerous to those who control through manipulation. When you don't respond, when you don't explain, your silence disrupts their narrative control. This unbalances those who thrive on your reaction. True silence isn't the absence of voice, it's mastery over one's energy, a refusal to be drawn into another's emotional chaos. Individuation, Jung taught, requires this distancing. Only in silence can you hear yourself without interference. Silence has its price. It distances you from those who valued your role, making you seem cold or arrogant. Yet This is reaction from those who never wanted your depth, only your utility. As you mature, you become selective with words, understanding each sentence as an energetic investment. Not everyone deserves access to your truth. Silence is sovereignty, the language of those who don't need to prove themselves. Silence discomforts others, exposing their internal noise. Your absence explains itself, unsettling those who depended on your imbalance. The most potent silence reconstructs you from within, connecting you to something beyond external approval. In this internal space, free from demands, you reclaim your vital energy, reconnecting with your essence. Understanding these concepts isn't enough if in practice you continue to say yes when you mean no, respond to bothersome messages, and maintain empty relationships. Awareness without action is self-deception. True transformation begins with a firm decision to become selective, requiring emotional discipline. Conscious unavailability isn't about coldness or arrogance. It's about reclaiming control over your energy and time. This begins with small actions, not responding immediately, breathing before reacting, leaving discussions before chaos ensues, turning off your phone without guilt, saying, "Not today. I'm not interested. I won't get involved." Crucially, you don't need to justify your absence or explain your silence. You owe nothing to anyone but yourself. This journey, as Jung understood, involves isolation, not depressive, but sacred isolation. It's a time of inner retreat where you listen to your voice without the world's interference, rebuilding identity from your center. The evolution becomes evident in who distances themselves when you become reserved, who provokes when you stop reacting, who accuses you of change when you protect yourself. These are not signs of error, but proof of liberation. Being unavailable feels uncomfortable initially. Guilt arises, accusations of selfishness surface, but this discomfort is part of deconstruction. Conditioned to prioritize others, change naturally causes discomfort, not only for you, but for those who benefited from your old self. Conscious unavailability underpins self-determination. Saying no to the world means saying yes to yourself. Withdrawal from toxic environments reaffirms that your peace is invaluable, and stopping explanations commands respect, even if only from a few. This emotional absence exposes wounds others don't want to face, revealing their dependence on your chaos for control, leading to rupture. With rupture comes pain, loneliness, estrangement, the illusion of loss. But you are freeing yourself. What happens after distancing? What emerges from silence? This is the rebirth, a new beginning, a life where you accept only what resonates with your peace, truth, and wholeness. If you've journeyed this far, you're ready for this new path. You've understood that love without self-abandonment is meaningless, and that true self-love begins with choosing yourself, even if it means solitude. Are you ready to be misunderstood, rejected, or hated for your freedom? Will you pay the price for being you? If this message resonates, declare in the comments, "I choose my peace." Let's discover how many are prepared for this transformation. Keep watching the next video. It's more important than you imagine. See you there.